Okay, so I'm Georgina Johnson and I work in the hair and beauty department over in Weybridge and Ashford campus.
I'm Natasha. I am in charge of theatrical, special effects, hair and media makeup, and that's here at the Weybridge campus. I was in industry, so I was working freelance, and then I decided that I wanted to get into teaching, pass on the good practice that I had, and inspire the youth that I had great teachers, and I wanted to do the same again for them.
So I trained here for 3 years at Brooklands College as a student, and then I worked here for a year as a hairdresser, and then I started my teaching. So I'm currently doing my PGCE course, qualifying as a teacher. So I've just finished my first year and started my second year in September.
My name is Wale Akinwale Adesina. I'm a maths lecturer and I work for Skills for Life.
My name's Claire Williamson and I work for the English and Maths department, same as Wally. Most of my working life has been in the teaching capacity. I've been here for 17 years.
Wow.
Versus your one. And I've put in various departments here, and before that I worked with horses and in America.
And I was an accountant for 17 years before I decided to pack it in and to be a teacher.
Hello, my name's Phil Waters. I'm one of the lecturers in Public Services.
I'm Stacey Tompkins. I'm a lecturer in the sports department.
I will have been a lecturer for 6 years in January coming up. My background is policing, principally. I spent 32 years as a police officer in Surrey, joined at the ripe old age of 16, and worked my way up through the organisation, finished as an inspector.
So I did 5.5 years here, teaching, straight from university. I then decided to try something a little bit more challenging, and went to work in a female prison. Then I decided to go back into teaching, worked for a football academy, all boys, so again very, very different. And then I decided to come back here for my sins. But no, it's very good career move.
Hi, my name is Daniel Pope. I'm a media lecturer here at Brooklands College, and so I've been here, this will be coming up to 11 years this August 2018.
I'm Simon. I'm also a media teacher here at Brooklands. I've been here for about nearly 5 years, and I started off as a learning support assistant. I was teaching previously in another college in London.
So yeah, my background was initially more art. So I studied art. I wanted to go down the art route, and then I moved on to photography. So photography and digital imaging. So a bit of graphics, and then I moved more into new media. So I studied at Chelsea College of Art.
I originally came from a graphic design background, so I studied graphic design in college to degree level, and then I worked years later, it wasn't immediately after college, initially as a junior in a design studio, and then managed to get a job at a magazine, so it's a classic car magazine.
My name's Alan Wells. New to Brooklands, I've been lecturing since March this year, and was asked the question whether I taught before.
I'm Helen Pritchard. I teach GCSE English and Functional Skills English, and I think I've been teaching forever. I've 25 years-ish, thereabouts.
My name's Ray Evans. I work for construction, specifically carpentry and joinery. This year I was involved with doing level 1 diploma courses in the carpentry department.
Pat Smythe, additional learning support team leader and part of the safeguarding team. I've been in the education system now for 12 years. I've been doing this particular role now for, I think it's about 3.5 years. So starting at Ashford, just doing it part-time with the LSA, and then moved full-time over here, 2 years here now. A bit of a shock to the system coming from Ashford, which was fairly quiet, to a big campus like this. But I've got to say it was the best move. It really was. I actually enjoy coming to work every day. I think we have a motto downstairs that we never have a boring day, because every day is completely different. You come in with a set plan, and that changes from the minute you walk in the door and the phones start ringing or the students start coming in. So, yeah, it's always very, very interesting.
My name is Charlotte Board and I'm a progression mentor at Brooklands College. Here I've been a tutor for 6 months nearly. I came in January, but been tutoring for a few years before that and working with young people for about 7 years before.
Christian Hatherall-Good. I'm a brickwork tutor. I've also recently become head of construction here at Brooklands College. I've been teaching just over 6.5 years. I qualified 2 years ago with my Cert Ed from Greenwich University, something I'm very proud of. And yeah, I'm learning all the time and really enjoy it.
My name's Dale Brunt. I'm the Applied Science lead in the Applied Science department. I predominantly teach forensic sciences.
Hi, my name's Robert Evely and I work in engineering across all 3 disciplines. That's aero, motor vehicle and manufacturing.
My name's Vinny. I work in engineering. I teach motor vehicle. Recently I've been teaching for coming up to 4 years now. Previously I was in industry and spent 16 years, I believe, in industry.
But I've been in the RAF as well, where I used to teach, but I was also working on the aircraft and supervising engineers.
Holidays. No, I'm joking.
Well, for me, it's the reward of getting the students through and getting them on to the next step of their lives, really, and seeing them grasp a topic, maybe, improve their skills, confidence.
The majority of the time, you have fun with the students, and it doesn't matter what age group they are. It's just great. I love it.
For me, one of the reasons why I became a teacher was to help the next so that the next generation will be better at maths.
I think it's for me, teaching mixed sex classes is the best. Having experience from teaching or being around females to then teaching on the football academy, very, very different. They bring about the best in each other.
Well, it's probably a bit cliched, but every day is different. You know, you've got to think on your feet all the time, so it keeps you motivated.
And I think the bit that gets me is when you really make an impact on the life of some young person who's coming through. And
I think just meeting the young people and the students. Personally, I really enjoy the pastoral element of my job. So I love it when a student comes into my office and says, "Oh, Charlotte, I need to talk to you." And that kind of relationship building, going into a lesson and asking them like what they're doing, or I love it when a student will say to me, Charlotte, I did this, and they're really proud of it. That pastoral element for me is the best bit about our job.
The best thing is, without a doubt, seeing a student that comes in, has failed at school, with a lot of learning needs or possible medical needs, and then 2 or 3 years later, we see such a growth in them, either in confidence, communication skills, and ability, and leaving and being fit to go into employment.
I would have to say, when you have a student who don't believe in themselves, and then they just get it, and they master the skill that you've been drilling in for ages. That's probably like the most.
And the variety as well. You never know what student's going to walk through the door,
yeah.
and
it's never the same boring day.
No, absolutely. Every day is different.
Well, some of the level ones, they're quite rewarding to teach when they get something that you've put across, and
Yeah, and I suppose and the special needs, they're
yeah, definitely.
I'd say they're probably like I'd say they're probably up there actually with my most rewarding classes actually that I've had.
I would say that especially this time of year, in sort of May, June, is seeing those students that have really made that leap. That you've seen them from level 1, level 2, they're now in perhaps level 3, year 1 or year 2, and you've seen them from finding it very hard to articulate themselves to now being very confident, even outgoing, outspoken, really trying to push their ideas.
Come forward in leaps and bounds in order to get the students the best possible experience we can, and that's what I enjoy. Giving them everything that makes it enjoyable to come in every day that they have to come in.
I have to second that. It's you are on a journey with that student, and it's amazing to see the change. And there is a genuine transformation. You know, as you go through them year after academic year, and to the point, like just before they leave, like at the end, I sometimes actually feel quite, I don't know, a bit emotional about it, because that's it. You're not going to see them again, and you think about them, and there's some students from previous years which will still come into my mind, you know, and I'll still remember, I'll still think about them.
A classic example, we've got a lad who's a level 2 with us now, who was a level 1 last year, and he's really grown and he's really developed, and you now see a tall, proud young man who's walking around the site now doing his level 3, who has got a clear direction, and we have to have played a part in that young man's development, and that for me is what it's all about.
Yeah, I think coming from a school and then going into a college, it gives them a sense of freedom that they don't often have in the schools. They're quite directed and guided, and some people it takes a little bit of time to adjust to the whole difference in setting. Others sort of embrace it and proactively take it upon themselves to help, like you say, help others become a better person. We've had quite a lot of success stories from it.
How much work there actually is to it.
The workload.
Probably, yeah.
The workload.
The teachers make it look so easy when I was training. Like they never looked stressed or anything. They were so, on ball. But now doing it, I'm like, wow. They've done a good job of hiding that.
Fantastic job. Yeah, the workload.
I think we could answer that at the same time, couldn't we?
Yeah, the marking.
Yeah, it's the admin and the marking, absolutely, yeah.
Wow. Like I said, I became a teacher because I want to let students understand maths. But I don't like the admin side of my teaching.
Yes,
I don't like the paper pushing. I don't like the idea that you have to produce a lot of evidence that you are actually teaching what you are supposed to teach.
I think there's about teaching. The things I don't like is it seems an excessive amount of admin, a lot of box ticking exercises, and at the end of the day, we're here to teach students skills.
I think not the best thing is that we have a lot of admin that goes along with our job. That often means that if or when a student comes in and says, Charlotte, can I talk to you? I will try and rush that because of my admin. But actually, I'd like to just be free to just chat for 45 minutes, essentially.
I don't enjoy bureaucracy. I never have. There are too many hurdles to jump through.
Sorry, I can't do this.
I can remember the first thing I did. I remember turning up. I had my first lesson, and I thought, right, I need to get myself sorted. So the class came in. They were a little bit early. I was like, yeah, that's fine. You can sit in. And I was prepping the board. So I was writing all the questions on the board, and I was putting all these points that we were going to go through, and I had all my PowerPoint. Everything was planned until one of the students went, Vinny, you do just realise you've written on the active whiteboard. And I looked at him, and my manager was coming into the lesson, and I thought, oh my gosh.
The silliest thing I did, we had the radio on in the workshop one day as a bit of time for tidying up as a bit of a treat, and I started rapping because I knew the words to the song, and actually the students were quite impressed, but afterwards I felt very, very embarrassed.
For me, it wasn't so much the teaching thing, it's perhaps more on the admin side. But we went on a visit to a university, and I was counting everybody back onto the bus, and I missed one. And we're on the way up the motorway, and we get a phone call to say, we've still got one of your students in the interactive room. He was enjoying the lesson so much. So I kind of, in one way, felt quite proud, but in another way, we had to send someone back with a car to go and get him.
Yeah, well, I can think one that I did a couple of years ago where I was doing a demonstration for the students. Of course, I ended up sawing my finger, which didn't... And I'm saying to the students, right, you've got to use this saw really safely, and this is how you do it. And of course, I ended up, because I was in a rush trying to show them how to do it, ended up actually sawing my finger myself, so I had to then find the first aid box.
First started to teach, one of my first classes was a sports group, and they were all tall up, all bigger than me, and I used to try and write it on the whiteboard, and obviously I could only reach halfway up. And what they used to do was actually lift me up so I could write on the board.
I think one of the things is you have to learn to let go of the pride a bit. For example, that there might be students who ask you to take part in their films. And then, you know, it's for a genuine thing. You've got to help them out in that particular video. They've asked you. And so, yeah, OK, Simon, dress up as someone from The Matrix. OK, right, and talk in a corny American accent. But you do it because you want to help them.
Oh, we have silly moments every Friday. Getting towards the end of Friday, sometimes it's Linda and I in the office, and we just laugh for no reason at all. And it's a release of tension. It is just, you know, somebody a phone and you put the phone down and you, my God, what was that about? And you'll just burst out laughing for no reason at all. So yeah, they're the silly moment. And we have good laughs with our team.
Working with me?
No, definitely not. I'm joking.
Well, kind of.
No, I like the fact you said about the people and the students and them knowing what they want and doing well for themselves. I quite like when students sign up to a course based on what they enjoy, and then at the end of the 2 years, them walking away going, I want to go into physiotherapy, I want to do personal training. Something more specific career-wise that you've influenced by delivering whatever module it will be, in a sporting context, in the classroom, on it work experience, that they can then say, I know what I want to do. Yeah, that's the most rewarding.
People.
And I think especially the people in your department that you work with, because you create a bond very early on, and everybody sticks together and works together, and whenever there's a problem, it's sorted.
If I stop working here, the buzz of the place, the buzz of the place when the students are here, when the students start going, this time of the year it's difficult because everything is dealing with things on the phone for students next year, paperwork and things like that. I know we've got a few students, but when the students aren't here, there's no buzz to the place. And the students, good or bad, they bring a buzz to the place. That's what I'd miss.
If anyone was thinking of getting into teaching, it's an incredibly rewarding, it's hard work, but it's definitely worth it, because seeing, like I said, students come from nothing, or especially in a vocational career and learn skills and knowledge and progress into their chosen career, you can't beat that.
I think the fact that on my job description, part of my role is pastoral means that I can prioritise that if I choose to, although, as I've said, that admin often gets in the way. I think if I went into any other role, unless it was more pastoral, I would really miss that.
It'd have to be, I suppose, the kids, you know. I think deep down, no matter how much, you say whatever, I think that might be why I do it.
The kids. Every day, the kids. You know, they surprise me every day.
Different generations coming through keep you young and keep you on the ball as well. And I think that's very important that, you maintain your own skills and level of ability and continue research. And it's just nice to pass that stuff on. And generation on generation, there's always something different about each group of youngsters and learners that come into the college.
There's an enthusiasm and an energy. And sometimes this maybe the energy isn't exactly where you want it to go in. You might have to rein it back in somewhere else. But I think that's probably one thing I definitely miss that enthusiasm.
Well, I was going to say about because I've been here for so long, and I was in engineering for 10 years, so I wanted just to say about the links that this college has to the history of Brooklands. That's one of the things I love about being here, and that I would definitely miss about being here is the links we've got with the history and the Lock Kings and the racetrack and the museum.
I always like to say to my students is that it's always a beautiful day.
Always a beautiful day. Isn't it?
Always a beautiful day. Some students, they like me saying it. Some students, they just say, oh, we know that's always going to be a beautiful day. But always, honestly, whether it's raining, whether it's not, always look at the bright side. I want to break out into a song now.